see, this whole thing, it's not awareness counselling, it's actually just control. And it started in the 80s when you saw nice people in London, would all go to Paperchase, which went bankrupt last year, I think, and buy their just right stationery and writing materials. I've spent 4 or 5 times the last few weeks overnight, pushed right up to the pavement there to get the Wi-Fi signal from there. Now, I only stayed overnight here. I've had enough. Not when you even meet the dog woman a couple of days ago, just there, and have a great chat. But it's all too much like online was never mentioned during our 2-hour talk, and then you get, we need to engage on, we will continue engaging online. A really soulful, chilled, funny 50-ish-year-old woman. No, to the point. Here's the point. I myself, my acquaintance Susie, compañera of sorts, actually threw something into the mix about 6 weeks ago. Gurdjieff stated people just speak to fill the void, etc. But 4 or 5 months earlier, she'd mentioned to me the Gurdjieff version of, and they have this is today. This is today. A year ago, she was joining in Gurdjieff workshops in Hay-on-Wye. Yes, Gurdjieff spoke of the shock. I know it's the wrong way of putting it. It's too melodramatic. Let's sugar-addicted Britain speak. It's actually a period, long period, in the desert. The desert as I've described in chapters. But here's the point. Even 14 years ago, I was the sort of person who would plan. If I were to write a statement for myself or for anybody else, I would plan it for days. I'd want to get it just right. Never mind, no typos and perfect spelling. Not to be elitist or anything, but so I only stayed overnight there, and let's get crystal clear. This area, you see, I'm nervous about even saying the following. It's the simple truth. I spent the night there. There were fucking military manoeuvres all night. Low helicopters going, big helicopters going over this town. It's like, Jesus Christ, don't they have any humanity? It's just, that's the reality of this region. And of course, if you say that to an employer locally, or if an employer locally hears you've said that, oh, we don't want people like them around. No, I'm gone. But here's all that matters. Now, I've moved away because somebody was opening the windows half an hour ago. I don't want to be seen. I got nothing to hide, but you know that's their setting. Ooh, must be up to some no good. Here's the point. So, I only stayed overnight here because I had 6 gigabytes of files on that I need to get into my online cloud file storage. That takes about 2 hours. So I have to perch the computer exactly as close to the window as possible, blah, blah, blah. I had no plan whatsoever of writing or coming up with anything further. And then I just turned my recorder on and did the best thing that explains properly with a good story. I'd forgotten the name of Matthew years ago. I haven't forgotten Moddy because she's... No, anyway. I learned, due to a shock and then years in that desert, the wounds bleeding, hunger and thirst. Letting go means just putting the switch to on and doing it. And it's the hardest thing to say. Maybe you get assistance from the muses, whatever. I've no idea how to put it. But categorically, today is the last sunny day for a while. I plan to be somewhere and do some handwriting and just... But no, just fuck it. I got my laptop uploading, put the phone on and talk into it. Sounds like I got an illness. No, that was the best, I'm sorry, it's incontrovertible story of what's gone wrong and why, with that kind of tyrannical thinking that came about 15-ish years ago, there is I knew this 10 years ago. I had it formulated in my head 10 years ago, except it beautifully describes the terrible rabbit hole this society is in. There is, if anyone can listen to the podcast, I hate the word, the audio I made earlier today, and pick a hole in it, please tell me. Now, I know it's the truth. I know the argument is cast iron. But that's the problem that needs addressing. And I got it beautifully encapsulated in half an hour of a story. There we go. Now I can retire. There's no point now. I've ended up in the centre of the military-industrial complex, although they don't put that on the tourist guides. I've got to go somewhere quieter.